welcome to another episode of Self-Talk with Dee and Clyde. This is the vlog where I talk to myself, I answer myself, and I do it on a forum so that I can stay accountable. And I invite you with me through my journey when I speak to my child, my inner child, and hopefully, I intend on actually getting something out of this and healing where I need to heal. The thing that I wanted to talk about today is routines. Because routines don't have to be routine. Meaning they don't have to be monotonous, they don't have to be something that you dread doing. Think about a time when you were a child. What are some routines that you did? Maybe there were certain parties that you routinely did, or just the way you woke up in the morning to get ready to go to school, or to, play with a friend. What are some of the routines that come to your mind? I remember when I was a kid, one of my favorite things that I liked to do was put a towel over my head and act like I was Puerto Rican, right? Because I lived in New Jersey and everyone was either black or Puerto Rican where I grew up. And I would just, or I would have a conversation with myself out loud. Who knew I would grow up and do the same thing? But one of my fondest memories is when my Uncle Ronald, he kept talking to my grandmother saying, she has to be in there with someone. My grandmother said, no, she's in there by herself. She does this all the time. This is what she does. So he came into the door, me with a shirt or a towel or something on my head. And I was very shy, so I just got quiet and just wouldn't say anything while he was there looking at me. And I just silenced as if I wasn't just talking really loud a second before. And he just looked, and looked around, and he was like shaking his head because I was intently having a conversation with several people in the room because I love to play school. That was before I went to school. So in my mind, when kids say, oh, I'm going to school, in my mind, it was this glamorous thing with the teacher and the students interacting, and it was so fun, and I wanted to be a part of that, right? And then I grew up and realized I was programmed. You know what really irks my nerves sometimes is when, as adults, we learn to do things on our own and, become independent. But then we get in certain forums, i.e. work or, church or what have you, where you have to follow the guidelines and the paths, which it could sometimes be good, but sometimes it's so annoying because it's like, take your break at this time, take your lunch at this time, go to the restroom at this time. So it gets, sometimes you start to feel like a prisoner. At least I know I do. So what's the next step? What can we do? We can start to be intentional about everything that we do, even in our daily routines. Because I don't like to clean and straighten up, but what I do like to do is to dance. So I turn on music and dance, or either I'm competitive, so I'll challenge myself and say, okay, how many things can I do in a minute? How many things can I do in 5 minutes? And then I'll just, work in spurts. And it's not always the same time. It's not always in the same room of the house, same location. So what are some of the things, the routines that you have come accustomed to doing, and how have you made it so that it's not so routine, or it's not the same way that you do it every single time? Last night at work, I noticed that a male coworker was doing push-ups, and I'm looking and I asked him, so what are you doing push-ups? How about they challenge themselves to do 100 or more push-ups per day, and they either have to watch them or videotape it so that no one can say they did it and they actually didn't do it. And it's different times. Sometimes it's at break time. Sometimes it's just a spur of the moment type of thing, and it really helps you to refocus and re-energize and really feel like you're doing something, you're motivating each other, you're encouraging each other. So let's try to do that. Hey, that's my time. Thank you for your time. Me and Clyde have to go, but I hope to see you again really soon. Bye.